Hey, I'm Nick Reese from Joyous Wolf, and you are watching Metal Nexus.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it very much. That deep voice carries, of course.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes. Very deep voice indeed. Yes.
I heard recently, even whenever you were young, you tried to whisper in your room. Your parents would still hear.
Yeah, I always had a very percussive voice, yeah.
So you got a little jump rope in today on stage.
Yeah.
So are your climbing days over or just for the day?
Nah, just for the day. There was no way for me to get up there anyways. If you looked at that, you saw the stage, didn't you? It's like 2 wire poles. They don't even have trusses on that stage, so I don't think there would have been much.
Maybe they did that just for you.
I would be very honored if they did. If I've really caused that much of a they don't care very much here. I know what you're gonna talk about next. I'm sure you're gonna bring it up.
So tell us about Lost Rages.
Yeah. Oh, really? Surprise, surprise. Honestly, dude, it was just. I think it's a little melodramatic, just a little bit, because it was just like, okay, come on, I get it. I went up, I went down. I usually hang upside down from the center divider. There are photos of this is what I'm telling her over there, but I'm gonna tell you too, the same thing, is that they could have just Googled us. The first things you see are me scaling these things all the time. I do it all the time. No one bothered to look that up. They look like, come on, man, do your research. Some of our most popular videos online are me climbing things, so it's like, come on, somebody dropped the ball there, Someone got fired. I'm sorry if you did, but
So other than that, no climbing incidents yet, but you did get a bloody nose at one point on this last tour.
I'll tell you something funny. There's a guy, a writer, and a DJ in Canada. His name is Sean. And Sean is doing, right now he's doing a piece that is like a trilogy piece, because it started off like he wanted to do a review of our set with Fozzy that day in New Hampshire. It's the last show we did with Fozzy, and which was, by the way, Fozzy was incredible, absolutely amazing. They're one of the most fun live shows I've ever seen. Great bunch of guys. It was one of the most fun tours I've been on so far. So he was at that show, and I ended up, if you see the show, I really get into it, and my eyes were closed, and I just let out a wail, and I thrashed my head forward, as you do. I didn't know that my bass player was backing up, and he had turned to the right, and I smashed my nose on the stud of his bass, the back of his bass, and I knew I broke in my nose about 6 times, and I knew exactly what happened. I was like, yeah, there it is. Here comes the blood, and I look at my shoe right on the cue, a little drop on my shoe. Next thing I know, it's a geyser, And so everyone in the crowd is like, and I was just laughing. I was turning to my drummer, and my drummer's like, look at my bass player was like, oh shit, it's hilarious. But it looked a lot worse than it was.
Yeah.
I honestly was laughing on stage. And I finished the set, I went into the crowd like I do, and I had blood all over the floor. And it's funny, they let me keep the microphone.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't think they wanted it. I got blood inside it, I was like, you're not going to be able to clean this shit out, so they're like, you can have that. So I have a bloody microphone that I will keep for the rest of my life.
Little memento.
Yeah. And so I was saying, so he went to that one. Sean was there writing a piece, and it was just going to be that. He did an interview there with us and everything. Cut to Las Rages, he was going to be there. He's like, you know what, I'm going to do a double piece. I'm going to come and do this at Las Rages. So he sees the nose breaking. Then he goes to Las Rages, and he sees us get kicked off the stage. He sees me get escorted by security. It was like being, when the convict gets out of prison, they walk him out, We'll see you on the other side, Joe. It was like, it was just bizarre, so I got thrown out. I got banned. I don't think I would have been banned if the audience hadn't thrown stuff at him, because that pissed him off a little more. So I get it. I get the liability thing. I understand all the rules and whatever. But at the same time, You know, it was just one of those things where it's like, really, you could just give me like a don't do it again or something.
Yeah.
You don't gotta ban me. You don't have to kick me off the property. You know, like I feel like that was a little too much. I came down. I wasn't hurt. No one got hurt. You know, there was no rule that was written that said I couldn't do it.
Yeah, they didn't tell you.
They didn't tell me not to. Well, you could argue that they didn't ask me either, but I didn't say anything to them either. But you know what? Your research. But yeah, he was there for that too. And I had a phone interview with him at Rockville last weekend.
Oh yeah.
And now he's gonna be there at Rock on the Range. He's gonna fly out for Rock on the Range and do this trilogy piece about us, because he's just like, you guys are insane. Like, I've witnessed so many insane things, and I'm planning on making that set in Rock on the Range extra special.
Well, we'll have some people there, so we'll make sure to capture that and write something up as well. Right now you're on tour with Blacktop Mojo and your friends in Limbo.
Limbo actually are not.
They're not on that tour?
They were, but they actually got into a really terrible car accident.
I did see the GoFundMe for that.
He got hurt really bad. The singer shattered his shin, almost lost his foot. Thankfully, he's going to make a full recovery, you know. And the drummer broke his collarbone 3 places. He'll be all right. He was thrown from the car 20 feet from the car, and all he walked out with was a fucking broken collarbone. I'm like, dude, you were touched by the universe right there, man. Like, it was like, nah, you're not going to die. You know, like, I mean, they're gonna come back. I mean, if you guys are watching this, go onto our Instagram. In our link, we have their GoFundMe. Anything helps them. They got a huge medical bill to pay off, so I'd appreciate it if you guys would help them out.
Great band too.
Yeah, they're a wonderful fucking band. If you haven't heard their record, Nicotine of Limbo, Nicotine on Spotify, it will kick your ass, man. It's one of the best rock records you've never heard.
That was a great pairing too. I mean, even still with just you all and Blacktop Mojo, both of y'all have that bluesy sultriness.
They are really cool guys. I've met them a couple times. I just started the tour with them, and they've been nothing but nice and supportive. Wonderful people.
Yeah, you're just a couple days into that tour.
Yeah, we are, yeah. We got a long way to go, man. We're going to be on until June 13th, so come check us out, please.
So, tell us about signing with Roadrunner after, shopping to everybody and finally making a decision.
Okay, so there was a little bit of a bidding war. I mean, between a couple labels, not so much like about money, but more about like what made the most sense. And the one that we wanted from the beginning, we're like, God, it would be so incredible if we were on that label. Like, you think about the clientele. There's amazing bands, and they do extraordinary work at Atlantic, So that was like the dream, and then suddenly it became reality. And when we had the choice, it didn't fucking matter. Nothing mattered. No one else mattered, because it was like, this is the best rock label in the game. There's no one better than Roadrunner. No. And I wanted to be with the best people, And my guy Dave Rath that signed us is one of the best people I've ever met. One of the coolest people, and everyone I met my team over there when I was in New York. Went over to Atlantic headquarters, and that was bizarre, man. It was like, that was when it finally hit us that we were signed to this label. It was like, oh man, And like it's overwhelming. I just can't. We got signed back in March, and it's still strange, because last time you saw us, we were the unsigned wonders,
Yeah, I think the only unsigned band on the.
I mean, when we played Aftershock, Aftershock Festival. That was like our job interview.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that's where he saw us play for the first time. Dave saw us, and that ultimately was what won us the day. Won us our contract with them. So.
Speaking of Dave's,
yes.
You also met Dave Grohl last weekend.
Yes, we did. We got to hang out with Dave and all the guys from the Foo Fighters and
give your drummer a little shit in the process.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll say this for everybody. Dave, I told Dave to do that. I told him to be a little funny. He didn't actually mean that.
Right.
Yeah, he was just playing it up for me.
Dave being Dave.
He was playing it up for me and for my friend. Because I've been friends with Robert since 6th grade, and I've already done a video like this before with Daru Jones, who would play with Jack White, in his band. and I got him to say pretty much the same, around the same thing, you know, like keep practicing, you know, like. So I'm planning on getting every drummer that Robert loves. I'm just gonna go find them and meet them without him and make him feel all like what the hell, you know.
That's friendship gold.
Yeah.
And that's what you're supposed to do.
I love doing that to him. I don't think he likes it, but I get a serious sick kick out of it.
So your voice has pretty complex characteristics to it. Like I hear some Howling Wolf in there.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe some Elmore James.
Yes.
You know, a lot of blues in there.
Yes.
Like what would you say are some of your influences as a vocalist?
I love bluesmen. I'm a blues singer and a rocker. I really am. A lot of soul singers. I love Otis Redding. Otis Redding gets me there, man. Like Sam Cooke and the Temptations, like the whole fucking, all of them who just sing their asses off, you know. I love Elvis Presley, and I love all the 50s rock and roll stuff. Those guys had to be able to sing. People don't understand that anymore because now you can put yourself through a fucking quantizer, and you're fucking.
You didn't have that.
Now you don't. And that's fucking bullshit, by the way. Don't fucking do that. If you want to actually sing, you learn to sing. I put in 10 years of being an awful singer to getting to where I am now, and I think I'm pretty decent now, and I'm only working harder. So if you want to be a singer, put in the time. Don't cheat, because then no one's gonna respect you. But I grew up listening to old blues records. Like I listened to 88.1 back home, the K-Jazz, and on Saturdays they have Blues Day, you know, and they play just everything, all the old stuff, you know, everything from P.B. King to like Lightning Hopkins, and that was just like my diet, you know, like Horrible Dreams, Awful Dreams by Lightning Hopkins. I've been playing all the time, and it's the same. The drummer from them was over there. I literally, James Brown is one of my biggest ones.
I can see that.
Of course. I mean, Prince and Michael Jackson, all three of them influenced my stage show.
The way you slide and glide around on stage.
Oh yeah, it's 100%. Like I love Prince and I love James and I love Michael, and people don't understand how hard rock those guys were. Yeah. James Brown was the first guy to scream. Like I'm talking everyone, you know, everyone does that now. You know, all the gritty screaming.
The person I always give that the credit to is starting, like the geared toward metal was Little Richard.
He was, but James was beyond. Yeah. James was just screaming. Watch Please, Please, Please on the Tammy Show, 1964. Live on the Tammy Show. When he plays Please, 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 he screams so hard, those 50s microphones couldn't handle it, so it distorts the living shit out of it. He is the original metal singer. Yeah. He really is.
So you mentioned in the past too, you played in some punk bands.
Yeah.
So it's a far cry from kind of your vocal style now.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I was a terrible singer. I was the worst singer you ever heard.
So what would you attribute to you now being a great singer?
Great. I think I got a long way to go. I have a lot of work cut out for me. I think I want to put out some records first and see if people like my voice, you know, before they say something remotely like that. But I just sort of wanted to really bad. I couldn't really remember when there was a moment where I'm like, yeah, you know. I remember it was something that Robert was actually there for. My friend's 6th grade, you know, my drummer. There was a battle of the bands, and I just hated everything that was happening. I didn't like anyone that was playing. Because that's just me. I'm a critical person. I'm critical of myself first and foremost before I'm critical of
anybody. It's good to be your own worst critic.
Yeah, I mean, it's what keeps me going, you know. Compliments are great, but I can't do anything with a compliment, you know. With an insult, or like even insults, you know, I can take an insult and I can make it my own, you know, and I can tear it to pieces and make it that little liner note to work a little harder the next time around. But I was in punk bands. I just was. I played in every band I could be in. Craigslist, man. I was on Craigslist. I answered every call. I was like in 7 bands at once at one point when I was like 16 years old. I played bass. I did backups. I'd sing. I'd thrash around with everybody. I don't care about the words said. You know, like, stuff like that. You know, like fucking everything from that to like, oh, Mom and Dad, why don't you care? You know, like that. everyone was doing. I'm from Southern California. Everybody was doing that. You know, that's just what people were doing. That and then I got into like alternative rock and stuff, and I was like chasing the radio. You know, like trying to be current. But you learn, you know, as the biggest lesson to all bands out there: do not do anything that's playing on the radio, because by the time that you get good at whatever that thing is, it's gone. And there's a new thing. You gotta get your own sound. Sit down, fuck everybody, close your windows, put some sunglasses on, then put a blindfold over the sunglasses, and write some music in the dark. You know, because that's the only way you're gonna be able to make anything that is worth a shit in this world. But yeah, I just kind of built up from that point, and I remember just being extraordinarily unhappy with the stuff that I was making, because I wasn't making what I wanted to make. I always loved the music that I loved. It didn't change. I wasn't listening. I just wanted to play with these bands in my local town. I wanted to play, and I wanted just to be on stage, you know, it didn't matter. But eventually the music started to matter a lot more, you know, I started to care more about the project I was putting out, because I didn't like what I was writing, and I didn't like anything about it, because I realized it was just so phony. And that's the one thing I said, like, is that I didn't do anything in music. I was in bands for 8 years, playing in bands, and, you know, bands for 5 years before I joined this band. Nothing happened for me. Nothing happened for anything that I did. No one gave a shit about what I did until I didn't give a shit about what anyone thought about what I was doing. Because when I joined this band, I had the goal of doing exactly what I wanted to do with people who cared about what they did as much as what I did. And now, you know, finally we're getting to the point where a record is on the horizon. I can't say a date, I can't say nothing about it, but it's coming. And I'm excited to see what people think, and I'm excited to put words on paper for people to actually read and get to know, because I don't want to talk about the same old things. I really want to go out there, and I want to explore, and I want to make something that I'm proud of, and they're proud of, you know, and they feel the same way. We work as hard as possible. Nothing has ever been handed to us, ever. We earned every single thing that ever came our way. We played the Viper Room an infinite amount of times, you know, an exuberant amount of times, before suddenly in Los Angeles people were like, hey, there's this band, they're pretty good, you know. You have to go there, you have to play with a bunch of bands that are so bad that they clear the room before you even get to go on stage. You have to play with bands that are so good that they make you look like complete garbage, you know, and you have to learn from all these experiences, you know, and you have to take it and you have to eat it, and you can't let the disappointing moments slow you down, because if you do, then it's already over. The moment you have the thought that it's over, it's over.
I think you definitely earned every fan you've got on stage. I mean, literal blood, sweat on stage. If you haven't seen these guys yet, you need to. Rock on the Range, you're going to witness something special, maybe some jump rope, maybe some climbing. You'll never know. And you've heard it here. You will never hear an auto-tune Joyous Wolf. So, Nick, anything to say as we exit the interview?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Once again, the GoFundMe on our Instagram at Joyous Wolf Music. Help Up Limbo pay their medical bills. I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's $10, I don't care if it's $100. Just help my best friends out. Make them feel good, show them some love. Thank you.
Check out their album on Spotify, Nicotine.
Thank you. Go do that. Up Limbo, Nicotine. Best rock record you've never heard.